All right, Chad, thank you so much for joining us at Game On Magazine. Let's start off with, when did you start mountain biking?
Well, I started when I was 9, but I only started racing competitively when I was 13, so it was more when I was 9 years old, just riding with my dad, just around the estates and stuff.
Do you participate in other forms of cycling?
Well, I train a lot on the road, but with my mountain bike. But within mountain biking, there's like different disciplines. So cross-country Olympic, which is the Olympic form of mountain biking. Cross-country marathon, which is long distance. And cross-country eliminator, which is within 2Ks of sprints. So that's mainly what I do.
Talking about training on the road, what does your training program entail?
Well, my whole training program is set up by my coach, Paul Cordis, and it mainly entails just sprints because I have very limited time within school and trying to balance my life. So sprints, trying to keep quality over quantity. So instead of going out for long rides in the week, like 4 hours, rather do 2-hour rides, but then intense training, so intensity.
What do you do to prepare for races? Do you have a specific routine that you follow?
Well, preparation generally starts within 6 months before the race, so you try do longer distance rides before, like December holiday sort of thing, just to get a base training. So it depends which race you want to train for. So within, let's say for example, national champs, you would train 6 months in advance. But generally I would have a set program and have set rest periods between and after.
You finished 5th in a USN under-23 race. What was it like to race against much more experienced riders?
Well, it was really like something that opened my eye. The reason I competed in the under-23 instead was because that was the 50-kilometer half marathon race, and I find that the 30-kilometer race doesn't suit my ability, and it's sort of, you lap the riders. So, but I'm not allowed to in my age to enter that one, so I just entered under 23 to do the half marathon. But it was quite nice to see my times and my finish times compared to some of the top riders in the province and the country.
What are the difficulties of mountain biking?
Well, I think there are many difficulties, such as you have to be an all-round athlete to do well in the sport. So, for instance, you have to have good technical skill, because unlike road cycling, you have to be more all-round with what you can do on the bike. So not just fitness, you have to be mentally strong, you have to be technically able and fit, of course.
You were attacked last year during a training session in Pretoria. What exactly happened, and what safety advice would you give to your fellow riders?
Well, yeah, I was training at Fikkert Monument, and I was training for one of the SA Cup Series races that was going to be held that weekend. So I was doing laps around, and then 2 guys came out of the bush, and sort of the one hit me with a catty whilst the other one pushed me off my bike while I was going at speed. And while I was on the ground, the one guy jumped on me, searched through me, took my shirt off, and then he tied my hands behind my back with my own shirt and said, like, now you must run. So like naturally I ran, and then he sort of directed me to where he wanted me to go, but whilst the other one was looking after my bike. I wouldn't say looking after, but and then the one guy kicked me into a ditch and started asking me questions, and this is when I realized that it was going to become an issue. So I had to think a lot more than what emotions, sort of human ability wants you to do. So instead of screaming and stuff, I cooperated with them. But the one guy was quite aggressive and he was beating me up a lot. And then eventually they left, and I had to try to find my way back to where people could see me. So I had to try climb out of a ditch and untie myself somehow. And yeah, I just ran back for help.
Obviously, it was a very traumatic event. What would you say to your fellow riders to allow them not for this to happen to them?
Well, I think mainly you have to have publicity about it. I think the main reason I got attacked was because I didn't know or wasn't aware of the stories that happened around. So if you're vigilant and you listen to the news and you sort of become more aware of what's around you, then I believe you have a much better chance of being safe. And of course, I was riding alone when I was attacked. So I would say if you have a group of 4 riders, you're generally safe. But I wouldn't ride with less than that in isolated areas at all, no.
What, in your opinion, needs to change in order for mountain biking to grow in South Africa?
Well, I think mainly we have to have the facilities to accommodate for all riders, and I mean it's one of the fastest growing sports in the country. So I believe if we have more places to ride safely, that's another one, and more competitive races to allow for all levels of riders with skill.
What does the mountain biking scene look like at school level? Does the current events provide adequate competition?
I would say so. I mean, at school level, it's mainly about getting kids onto bikes, and there is the Spur series and the nationals that comes from the Spur series, but I do believe that there should be more races of that format to get more kids on bikes, as this will definitely help the sport grow a lot quicker.
Who do you look up to in the cycling world?
I look up to Jared Graves. I believe he's one of the most technically gifted all-round riders in the world. Olympic athlete in BMX, EWS winner. He's pretty much raced every discipline of the sport. And then also the current world champion, Nino Schurter, mainly because he's good at what he does and he's focused, but at the same time he knows how to have fun while he does it. And I think that's a great lesson to learn, that if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it. But he definitely does have fun, and that's why he does so well.
Lastly, what are your goals for 2016?
Well, my goals are to definitely do well in all aspects, and also to become a more strategic rider, to also go into bigger events like the national series and have more confidence. I would also like to at least become top 5 within the country this year, and do well in all races that I enter, and also be an example to everyone.
Thank you, Chad, for joining us at Game On Magazine.